Welcome back to our series of 200 PMP practice questions, ultra hard questions. This is going to be questions number 51 to 60. I'm Andrew Ramdiel. I am the author of the world's best-selling PMP study guide, PMP Exam Prep Simplified. I'm also the creator of Udemy's best-selling PMP course. Over 500,000 students have taken my courses to pass their exam. All the links to that stuff is in the description below. Let's just jump right into our practice questions. By the way, if you haven't checked out questions 1 to 50, make sure to check out those videos, okay? Let's get into it. Question 51. During a mobile application development project, the project manager faces significant uncertainty regarding user preferences and the effectiveness of proposed features. The initial user feedback has been inconclusive, leading to questions about the project's current direction. What is the best course of action for the project manager to ensure the project aligns with users' expectations? Finish developing the application and correct all features not aligned with users' expectation. Proceed with the creation of an MVP. And if you're not familiar, this means minimum viable product. Pause development efforts until a comprehensive market analysis provides clear guidance on user preference. Instruct the development team to incorporate the most popular features of completed application to ensure relevance. Okay, best answer here is going to be MVP. Here's why. First of all, before we get into it, what's an MVP? So minimum viable product is something that the team releases to the customers to get feedback. For example, let's say they're making this mobile application. Do you have to release the entire mobile application to the users to get feedback? No, you release something that's minimal, something that's usable. It doesn't have every single feature, but it has some of the core features, something that you can give them that they can use, they can play with, they can input data, that way you can get great feedback on it. MVP is a popular topic on your exam. It is in the exam objective, so make sure you understand what it is. Now, why is this the best answer? Well, you notice the question specifically states the effectiveness of these features. The only which way to understand the effectiveness of the features is to get the users to use them. They'll tell you whether those features are effective. Now, and being that there's a lot of uncertainty, the best way to gain certainty is to have the users use it, give them the features. It wouldn't be a good idea to finish the entire thing and then correct it all. This is more like kick the can down the road and fix later, which is something we never want to do. The mindset tells us never kick the can down the road. Never pause your project is part of the mindset. Unless there's something major going on, like a safety issue and somebody may die or you're breaking the law, you shouldn't be pausing your project. Instruct the development team to incorporate the most popular features. But how do we know if these features are even going to be effective? It's not just about being the popular feature. Best answer was B. 52. In anticipation of new environmental regulations, a manufacturing project involving two distinct operational teams, one using traditional manufacturing methods and the other employing green technology. And they need to evaluate the impact of these regulations on combined operation. What is the most effective action for the project manager to ensure compliance and seamless integration? Okay, so we got two teams, right? We have one using traditional, the other one using green technology, and they need to evaluate the impact of regulations. All right. A, organize a collaborative workshop with representatives from both teams to discuss compliance strategies. Okay. Conduct a separate workshop for each team to allow for focused discussion on adapting their specific operation of the new regulation. Facilitate individual strategy session with each team to outline their approach, followed by a joint session. Okay. Assemble a panel of regulatory experts to provide guidance and recommendations to both teams. Best answer here. Follow the mindset on this one. The best answer here is always to bring people together. Let them work together. Your job as a project manager is to be a facilitator and collaborate. Big collaboration amounts everybody on a project. That's what A is all about. You never want to just do individual workshops, right? Let them just figure it out on their own. They have to work together. So, especially something like a regulation. I like C. D is definitely out of the, you don't want to do that because the team has to come up with the ways to implement that on there. So let's get rid of D. Facilitate individual discussions with each team. This might take longer. And then Any which way, you're going to follow it up with a joint session. The best thing here to do is just to bring them together and let them figure it out together while you be a facilitator of that meeting. 53. The goal on a project is to foster a culture of cooperation that drives the teams towards exceptional performance. Following a recommendation from the company's founder, the project manager decides to adapt a servant leadership approach. What should the project manager do to effectively embody servant leadership? So basically, the question is asking, what servant leadership principles here? A, implement a competitive reward system to incentivize individual excellence, drive project outcome. All right. Direct the team to refine their strategies continuously until they devise an unbeatable plan for the project execution. All right. Evaluate the project scope meticulously and set clear, prioritized goals to encourage team alignment and focus. All right. Establish a clear project goals and nurture a supportive environment that enables team members to excel and contribute to their fullest potential. Now, you really have to think about servant leadership here. The thing about this question is that most of these choices are technically good. There's one of them that may not be a good choice, but 3 of them are technically good choices. Now you have to say, well, which one of those good ones are servant leadership? That's going to be D. Here's why. So A was the throw-out answer. This, you're creating a competitive system. As a servant leader, you're not making a competitive system. You're supporting the team. You're not trying to make them be better than each other. You want a generalizing specialist. You don't want team members feels like they have to outperform the other to get something at the end. That's what A is. B, direct the team to refine their strategies. This is not a bad thing, but notice you're directing the team to refine their strategies until they find an unbeatable plan. Your job is to support the team, not direct the team. Evaluate the scope and set clear priorities. You shouldn't be setting goals for the team. That's what the team does. All right? Prioritize goals to encourage team alignment, and then you're going through the scope. Remember, as a servant leader, what you're doing is you're supporting the team. Technically, the team is self-directing on these types of projects. The team is choosing the work that they want to do. Remember, servant leadership is used on agile projects, and it's the team that says, okay, we're going to do this work from the backlog. It comes from the top. This is what we're going to do in this sprint, and you're just there to support, not direct. 54. During the critical phase of a remote operated environmental research project, a key analyst departs, necessitating the swift simulation, hard word to pronounce, of new members who lack familiarity with the project's specific challenges and objectives. The extensive project documentation exists, yet the project's complexity might hinder the rapid comprehension necessary for the new project members' tasks. What proactive measures should a project manager implement to ensure new members' effective integration? All right, this, I didn't write this question. One of my team members did. This has a lot of big words in it. So I like this question because it's one of these questions where you read it and you're like, what are they asking me? That was my first thing when I read it. I was like, all these giant words, I barely can pronounce most of them. What are they asking me? Like, I had to read this one twice. You will get questions like this on your exam. And the first thing you do before even looking at the choice, you got to say, what are they looking for, right? What is it that they're asking me? So a couple of quick things. You notice that there is a new member. Somebody is leaving. That's the key thing, right? There's a new member, but this person doesn't have familiarity with this particular project, specific challenges and objectives. There is project documentation. The question is proactive measures. Should the project manager implement? So we got to remember, what could we have done? We're not trying to fix the current problem. It's what could we have done to ensure that this new integration, this new members was working well. All right, A, arrange for the new member to shadow an experienced team member for hands-on learning. Okay. B, encourage the new member to study the doc thoroughly and followed by a session to discuss their role. All right. Schedule a series of training webinars on the project's methodology and technologies. Okay. Facilitate a workshop with the team focusing on project scope and ensure all current members and the new member attend. The question is, which one follows the mindset? Which one brings the team together? Which one ensures that this new person is not just doing it by themselves? Which one allows them to have the team there with them? Well, that's going to be D. If you think about it, A is more like go follow that guy. You're like giving away the work. We don't want to do that. This one, although I like B, it's a decent answer. Encourage a new member to study the document, but this is more like, hey, you study that by yourself. You're not there with the person. This one here is more bringing the team together. Series of webinars on the project's methodologies. This is not something that you could have done. And notice, and technologies, this may delay time. The best thing here to do, and especially it's a webinar, this person might not be participating. Which one drives that servant leadership? Which one drives that mindset? 55. In a routine progress check, an agile project manager notice that a lead analysis is habitually passing off less complex analyst work to newer team members, claiming it allows them to concentrate on the more integrated aspects of the project. What should the project manager do? A. Develop a rotational task assignment system to ensure all members gain experience across a range of tasks. Directly assign tasks based on the complexity to ensure each team member works with their capability. Establish a mentorship program where senior members guide junior members through complex tasks. D. Organize a team discussion during the next project update meeting to evaluate the effectiveness of the current task delegation method. Now, let's stop right here. This was a tough question. It seems like an easy one, but it's not. So the team came up with a way of doing something that they feel is effective. What do you do? Again, the team is doing this themselves. It's a lead analyst, it's passing off his work to newer team members. The question is, what do you do? Well, here's what you do. First of all, you don't stop it. You don't know how effective this is. This may be a great thing for the team. If you come in and you say, well, let's do a rotational system. If you come in and you say, hey, you have to do it this way, A and B puts you in charge, puts you as this direct project manager that says, hey, this is where I want it done. You guys can't do that. That just shuts the team off. You don't want to shut it off. You want to evaluate it. You want to see, is this thing effective? Work with the team. This may be a great thing or it may be a bad thing. Let the team work together. C is also the same as A and B. Now you are telling them what to do. Remember, the team is the smart ones. I always told you guys in the course, project managers, we're not the smart ones, guys. We are the collaborators. We're the facilitators. Unless you know how to code and build buildings, you're not going to be the smart one on a project. We don't want to be the smart one. We want to be the one that collaborate on the project. We want to bring people together. We want people to get along. But we are not going to be the one coding the applications. So in this one, maybe this is good. We don't know. I think it's a good thing. 56. As a critical update to an e-commerce platform nears completion, the project manager receives a last-minute request from stakeholders for additional features that would significantly enhance customer experience, but require extensive extra work from the team, potentially affected the launch timeline. What should the project manager do? Okay, so we got a e-commerce platform. It's almost finishing. Somebody wants to add something. What do you do? Expedite the process by incorporating the new features into the plan. Calculate the additional cost and request an immediate increase in budget. Reject the request outright, maintain in focus. Discuss the implementation of the request with development team, presents feasible solutions to the stakeholders. Follow the mindset on this. This is a pretty easy question. Although we call this one extra hard, ultra hard questions, this one is technically not. Customer requests something. What are you going to do? Well, the first thing is, what I'm going to tell you what you should never do is to never on your exam. If there is ever a choice about to reject something, don't select it. If you get choices that seem negative, fire somebody, reject something, say no to this, stop something, it's probably never the answer. All right, so don't reject something. All right, because you notice it significantly enhanced customer experience. Maybe we should add that in. Calculate the extra cost and request. I think B is a good answer. It's analyzing the change. But remember, It's best to come up and analyze the change with the team, not by yourself. Expedite it, just don't incorporate things like that, all right? Without revisiting the project. You need to analyze it, all right? You just can't incorporate like that. 57. In the development phase of an international public health project, a project manager faces skepticism from government partners about the project duration and achievement due to limited visibility into the project progress. What action should the project manager take to address this? Okay, so notice the problem here is skepticism from people, from folks, partners, because they have limited visibility. So you notice I read the question and I have a good understanding of what it's asking. Initiate a monthly newsletter focusing on project milestones, challenges. Okay. Arrange for a series of workshops with the project beneficiaries to directly showcase the project's impact. Organize a virtual meeting with government partners to discuss how they would like project updates to be done and yield any questions. Okay. Compile an extensive report on project outcomes and plan activities to be distributed quarterly. This is a very easy question if you read it carefully. The main problem here is that the skepticism is coming from where? Limited visibility. What is the best action should take? Should we just determine the best way the project status should be visible, or should we ask them first? What do you think we're going to do? Well, if you said, hey, Andrew, you know what? Let's meet with them and ask them how they would like these updates to take place, right? Project progress, then you're absolutely correct. You notice, A, you're determining what's best for them. B, you're determining what's best for them. D, you're determining what's best for them. You know what's best for someone? I don't know. Maybe you should ask them that, right? What's the best update to your CEO? What's the best update to your regulatory agency? How about if you ask your CEO? How about if you ask that agency? That's what C is. So remember, be collaborative. 58. During the implementation phase of an innovative mobile banking application, a significant update from regulatory bodies, adjustment to several key features of the app requires adjustment. Notice, requires adjustment. The Agile Project Manager arranges a meeting with the responsible regulatory officer who is new to the project to discuss these required changes for this Agile project. What action should the project manager take to ensure these updates are efficiently integrated into the scope? Okay, 8. I want you guys to keep in mind Agile project, right? Because you got to keep in mind something before we look at these choices. The way this is going to be some kind of scope change. The way you manage scope on traditional versus Agile is vastly different. Make sure to review the course on that. All right. A, request that the compliance officer formalize the regulatory updates in writing and submit them for approval from the Change Control Board. Encourage the compliance of detailed regulatory changes for inclusion in the product backlog. Instruct the compliance officer to immediately communicate the changes to the development team in the next daily scrum. Ask the compliance officer to assess the plan and suggest modification to accommodate the new regulation. Best answer here is going to be correct, B. I didn't think this one was very difficult, but you have to understand how changes to Agile project scopes are done. We know we have to include this because it's required for it to be done. And in order for work to get done on an Agile project, where must the work be? It must be in the product backlog. And you notice that in A, they're going through a change control board. There's not really change control board on an Agile project. So A was the throughout answer. Notice you don't communicate scope changes during the daily scrum. The daily scrum is basically just to answer 3 questions. What you did yesterday, what you're going to do today, what impediments you have. Not to come in and introduce new tasks and all that. First of all, that's something that should have, the real good answer here would have been for the compliance officer to meet with a product owner to include into the product backlog and to be prioritized. That would have been the best answer. And that the best thing closest to that is B. The compliance officer shouldn't be assessing the current plan. Is this person a project manager? Do they have a lot of experience? Probably not. Best answer, B. 59. Guys, are you enjoying this session? Did I teach you a lot? Did you learn a lot? If you did, can you please click on that like button, subscribe to the channel to learn more of how to pass all your certification exams. Let's get back to this. 59. A project manager noticed that the integration process is more cumbersome than anticipated, significantly slowing down the project progress. This issue is primarily due to a newly implemented IT protocol that was designed to enhance security. What should you do next? All right, introduce additional training session for the team on the new IT protocol. Okay. Require the team to double their efforts to meet the deadline despite the protocol. Okay. Organize a workshop to identify workarounds to the IT protocol that does not compromise security. All right. Initiate discussion with IT leadership and the team to understand the protocol implementation and how best to facilitate the project. Okay. Notice it says what you're going to do next. Now, once again, I want to mention don't do anything that's negative. And one of the things you can do that's negative is overworking people. If they're going to double their efforts, what are you going to do? Make them work 16 hours a day. So that one there, we can get rid of. That was the throw-out answer. Follow the mindset. Bring people together. Is there a way for the team to implement this protocol correctly? Is there a way that IT can accommodate we don't know that yet. The best thing here to do, the next thing you should be doing is meet with everyone, talk with everyone, be collaborative in this situation. That's what D is. Maybe then you may want to do C. So I would do D. That's number one. Maybe then we could do C. Some people, C was also a good choice. It does say it does not compromise security, but you shouldn't go around their protocols until you really understand what this is about. Additional training sessions. You know what? I'm going to do D, then I may do C, then A, or I may do D, then A, then C. But notice D comes first. So you got to keep in mind, anytime you see that word next, you're saying what comes first. Now I want you guys to keep in mind, anytime you see the word next, so what do you do first? Basically, you're going to put some of these choices in order. What the exam is asking you in this type of question is, hey, what do you do next? What do you do first? Well, the choices are going to be things you will be doing. But then you have to say to yourself, okay, which one do we do first, then second, then third? That's really what it is. Like put them in order and then give me the first one. That's really what this question is. Last question. As a project manager for an app development project, you are approached by a stakeholder with a request to add feature that mirrors the functionality of something developed in a previous sprint. The stakeholder is looking for a quick estimation on how this addition might affect schedule and cost. All right, so we want a quick estimate here. What steps should you take to accurately provide this? All right, calculate the new feature impact by comparing it with the total budget and adjusting based on the proportion of work already completed. That doesn't seem quick, but you might be able to meet with the product owner to help you with the estimate schedule. Review the agile user stories and velocity metrics from the previous sprint related to similar feature to estimate the effort required for the new addition. Okay. Initiate a detailed risk analysis, incorporate a new feature, focus on potential schedule overruns and budget. Now, this one here, I'll tell you guys something about questions like this. When you get a question like this, all four of the choices are basically wrong. It's, the best answer in this question, if somebody comes to you and says, how long would this take? How much would it cost? Ask the team. The team is, but that's not the choice. You see, on this exam, it's not just about choosing the correct answer. It's the best of the four. This is a question where, well, what is the best of these four? Yeah, they all kind of suck. But you know what? I got to choose one, right? That's the least of the suckiest answer, if that makes sense. So that's why I like this question here. And of course, the answer is going to be C. That is correct. Because you know why? When you are estimating how long something should take or what it may cost, the team does it by utilizing how fast the velocity metrics, how fast they can do work and what the work is. So if the work is similar to previous stories, then use the metrics they use. That is the best answer. This would take too long. A, you never use the product owner to help you with estimation. That's something you and your team does. D would take too long because it's a risk analysis. So C may not be the correct answer, the best answer, but it's the best of those four. And remember, on this exam, it's about choosing the best of the four. It's never going to be just about choosing the correct answer. It's about choosing the best of those four answers. All right. Did you guys learn a lot? If you did, subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. It did take a lot of time and effort to write these questions. Check all the links below for all my classes, whether it's my e-learning course. I also have my live coaching program if you're interested in that. If you want to join me in a live training session where I can lively guide you how to pass your exam, I do have a coaching program. Link for that in the description below. And if you want more questions like this, if you want to practice more questions like this with video explanations and so on, I have about 1,000 of them in my TIA PMP simulator. That is in the link below also. Okay, guys, look out for the next question set coming up next week. That's going to be 61 to 70, and I'll see you in the next video.